Yes, people, welcome to this live stream. Gareth here, and I'm in the middle of a field, believe it or not, here just north of Hebden Bridge. Look at the view, it's absolutely stunning. And the reason we're down here today is because we have joined up with the Fellowship of the Trees here in the northern quadrant, I'm going to call it, the northern tribe. And we are planting some trees today. So I believe there's about 550 trees being planted all along this field. And I'm going to introduce one of the founders here who's going to discuss a little bit more about what we're doing here today. So if you guys are enjoying this, please be sure to like, comment and share because it'll help us out a great deal. Spread this word wide and fine. Dan, please come and join us. How's it going, mate?
Good, thank you. Very good.
So we're live now on Facebook, and before we start, thank you for inviting us down here. It's an absolutely beautiful place.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
And for the guys who are watching, whereabouts are we? Because I give it a bit of a description there.
We're in the hills just north of Hebden Bridge.
Just north. So I did get it right. Yeah. And how many people are coming here today, and what's the purpose of this gathering?
We've got about 35 people today, and the purpose is we're doing tree planting. Each tree is a prayer to the earth, and we're really hoping to turn the tide on the wanton destruction of our planet. And it's about planting trees, living in right relation with the land, getting connected.
There's people here, obviously there's some people playing music, some people bringing some nice hot drinks as well, and then there's people who brought the families. Is this kind of the general mix of people that you usually attract to these places?
Yeah, for sure. People from all walks of life. There's people who don't work. There's solicitors, doctors. Yeah, there's for young families. There's people in their 60s and 70s have been around, bringing us tea and generally looking after us.
It's nice, isn't it? How many trees are we putting in? Is it 550? Are they all the same type, or is there different types of trees that are going in?
So we're putting in 555 trees, and there's a good mix. We've got all sorts. We've got hazels and oaks, and I believe there's some ash, and I even saw some holly going in, which is really, it's really sinks in with today being Winter Solstice, and the day of the Holly King.
So the day itself, so that's quite significant, isn't it, to be doing it around the winter solstice?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the tree planting season is from around now until the end of March, when the leaves are off of the trees and it's cool and cold. But yeah, starting on the winter solstice is traditionally a time for communities to gather and celebrate the earth and just give thanks and gratitude, which is what we're doing today.
Good stuff. And I believe we are part of the Northern Tribe today.
We are indeed, yes.
How many other events like this are going on as well? Because I know there's a few up and around the country.
Yes, we've got 4. We've got this one. We've got one just outside Cardiff, one in Dorset, and one in Essex.
And are they taking place all today, or is it over a few days? Or
all today. We opened at the same time. We're stopping for tea breaks and prayers at the same time. Then there's 555 trees going in each site.
Perfect. How do you think we're going to get on today? Because there's a lot of trees going in. You've got quite a few people. What time do you think we're going to be finished?
Oh, we'll be done, packed up for 3. Oh yes,
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It feels like we're only just getting started, but tree guards are going in now. There's a lot of trees already in the ground. We're doing well.
For anybody who's watching who's not been aware of the Fellowship of the Trees or been aware of these kind of initiatives going on, what's the best way of them either starting their own or maybe joining you guys? Is there any way they can get in touch or learn this information?
Well, the Fellowship of the Trees was started as a sort of a front end for people who want to get involved and plant trees. So there's lots of people who already got tree planting projects. So some people put posts up saying, I'm sat here, I've got 3,000 trees, I need someone to help me plant, and there's an opportunity for you to go and plant. There's an opportunity for you to perhaps donate some cash towards us. We work with the Woodland Trust, so we're doing match funding, so we raise half and then they put half too in the form of trees.
That's really good. That's really good. And if they want to get in touch with you, is the best way through social media? Just get in touch through there?
Yeah, get in touch with Fellowship of the Trees. If you're in the north, there's Tree Sponsibility, who have organised the trees for us in the north today. Our little company's called Earthstar, and there's also the Bright Sky community.
Cool.
They're supporting today as well.
So with all them different names, what we'll try and do is we'll put them in as links for anybody who wants to find out who them are, because I'm sure there's links all over the internet as well.
There's links everywhere and loads of information. So if you're feeling like you'd like to plant some trees and some prayers for the earth, some trees for our grandchildren to sit under, get in touch. Come, bring your spade. Let's put some trees in the ground. I mean, look at these, just been planted as we've been doing.
I know, they are looking fresh. They're looking fresh.
Yeah, little row of oaks there.
Dan, thank you so much. I think we've got another guest as well who's going to come on. I've heard a bit of a tree planting legend.
He certainly is. I'll go and see if he's over here.
Cool. Guys, that was Dan there, part of the organisation of what's going on here today. And next we have got a tree. I'm going to look very small all of a sudden. We've got a man who plants trees for a living. Joe, how's it going, mate?
All right, we've been good.
So before we get going, what is it that you do?
So I work, basically, I'm a university student at the moment, but in any of my spare time to try and make a bit of money, I plant trees. I used to do that full time. I've tried to calculate it now, and I think I've got to about 250,000 trees.
Quarter of a million?
Yeah.
250,000 trees that you have put in the ground?
Yeah. So that feels pretty good too.
I'm sure it does.
I've done that.
My stepfather did the exact same when he was younger, and what I was talking to Dan about earlier is we've been back to the place where he did that when he was younger, and to see the transformation over 20, 30 years is staggering. Have you been back to anything that you've planted and seen change?
Yeah, I've seen a few places. Like there's a few hedges that I've put in, which I was able to see, and then I went back to them and then just sneakily went onto the land and had a look. And yeah, it's brilliant to see, because some of them were just sort of deserted areas, really. It was just all farmland with not much happening, and now there's an abundance of trees, and there was birds flying about, and there was berries growing on it. It was just brilliant to see that little bit more life in the area than there was beforehand. So that's been really nice seeing that.
How do your projects kind of split? You were saying a little bit before you do stuff for nature reserves, and you do stuff for kind of other projects as well.
Yeah. So the way I work is technically I'm a self-employed contractor. A lot of stuff I've been doing is bigger forestry scale stuff. So that's where you get like massive sites where they're putting in hundreds of thousands of trees. But then that's when you get it's a very different way of doing things. Like you've got a very community focused thing here, which I think is brilliant. But then there's other sides of things where you get like really difficult hard land, or you've got like so many to put in that you need that sort of industry level sort of stuff done. So I think it's interesting to sort of see the different ways it can be done, different ways you can plant trees, and I think there's different approaches for different places that you're in and different environments. But I think for people who really want to get into it and really want to try and find a job in it, there's also things people should be aware. Like if you can come to places like this, it's a brilliant place to get experience. Come to a few volunteer events, figure out how it's done, and then if you find you've got the aptitude for it, if you want to do a lot of hard work and graft, then there's tree planting jobs and opportunities in forestry, and I think that's important. I think those are really good for people because they're good physical exercise. You get to go beautiful places like this all the time and then plant thousands of trees. I think it's a brilliant thing that a lot of people just don't know about. And
yeah, I mean, what you said there as well about the scenery, to work somewhere like this, I mean, I don't think every location will be quite as scenic as this. We've been blessed to be here today. But like you were saying, it's one of them jobs that I'm sure a lot of people just don't think about. Yeah. And if you want to help the environment, if you want to do something that's physical, and if you want to enjoy nature, it's like the perfect mix.
Yeah, well, the way it works as well, I've always seen it's much more... I always listen to audiobooks while I plant, and I find that's a really good way. It's really good for me because I am occupied mentally and physically. So I'm working away, planting trees, which feels good in and of itself, and I'm listening to audiobooks, and I'm expanding my mind while I'm working away, and I'm getting paid per tree that I plant most of the time, which is really good. You don't realise quite how much you're capable of until you're sort of pushed in that way, and that's felt really good when I was doing it professionally. The more trees I planted, the more I earned, the more everything worked out really nicely there.
How many trees do you reckon you could plant in a day on a good run?
My personal record's 2,700. Yeah.
No wonder you've done 250,000. That's
Yeah.
a lot of trees, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a very different situation than this. They weren't all staked and tubed. This obviously goes a little bit different. But like I say, different approaches for different land. It's not a one-size-all-fits solution. There's different things that you can do in different areas. So I think people have got to be aware that there's different approaches depending where you are.
Yeah.
This is brilliant because you've got amazing community around. You've got a really nice experience. It's good for people. People get involved and feel attached to nature. And I think that's really missing a lot in society. People need to feel that connection. But then once you've got that connection, if people want to go on and do a lot more, there's tree planting work out there. And if we are going to get all of these, pretty much every political party promised to plant thousands of trees, there's going to be a lot of work out there for people who want to do it. It's just going to be having people fit, knowing what they're doing, and finding out the best way of doing it. And it's smart. It's brilliant that communities are getting involved like this, but you should take advice from industries that have previously existed, because that's how stuff gets more efficient. There's the people who've been doing it for years. Canadian tree planting is the ones where they do hundreds of thousands. I've got a friend who's a Canadian tree planter, and she's managed to do 5,000 in a day before. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get that fast.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's thinking about starting tree planting, maybe they just want to go out in the back garden and start doing it, is there any little simple tips that you could give them just to get going if they want to plant a tree?
If you just want to plant one tree, then you can I would say just do it in your garden or someone else's garden. Find somewhere who wants it, and yeah, plant it really. And then if you want to come along to events like this, little community volunteer groups, you can get some experience, and then from that, hopefully you can say, look, I've got some experience, and go work with a professional tree planter. Yeah. Depends how you want to do it, really.
Good stuff. Mate, thank you so much for joining us. I'm not going to stop you too much longer because I think we need your help today. We need your skills to get these these trees in the ground. Yeah. But thank you so much for jumping on the stream. I appreciate it a great deal. Guys, Dan and Joe there. How many trees can that guy plant? Let's find out today, because we've got an awful lot left to do. Me and Liam are going to get our hands dirty as well. We've got a few trees to punt in, some fresh trees to get in the ground. And we need to warm our bones as well, because the longer you stand here, the slower and colder you get. And we're not going to have that. We're going to get a sweat on very soon. Is that right, Liam? He's nodding. He's ready. Like we said before, please get this stream out, because amongst all the stuff that we do, this actually means a great deal, not only to us and the charity, but every single person on the planet as well, because this is a real eco thing that is actually putting goodness into the ground and really, enforcing change amongst the community and Great Britain. So share, comment, like, do all that good stuff that you always do, and be sure to join us on the next stream. Keep it fresh.